Well, you guys are here for a reason, and I'm going to talk about that reason right now. Obviously, it's not always easy to try to replicate what somebody does, and I wanted to give you 6 steps that you need to take to try to get to where I'm at quicker than I did it. Okay. So, if you're watching this video, chances are you've seen what I did in the month of September of 2021 and how I was able to do that in 1 month. And we're talking obviously about annuity production here. Is I had a system and I went full speed ahead at that system. There are lots of people that have different things that work for them. My biggest challenge that I've had in my career has been trying to get in front of the right people. Cross-selling, seminars, whatever, that stuff works for a lot of people, transitioning from cross-selling like Medicare clients or whatever. But I wanted to be in front of somebody who had real intent, because if somebody had intent, I knew that where my skill set was, I was going to be able to sell that person based on my sales process. So, with that being said, the first step into whether you're already doing annuities or want to get into annuities is going to be you need the right kind of knowledge, right? So I don't care if that is a mentor, or I would probably stay away from most YouTube videos. There's a lot of misinformation when it comes to annuities out there. I think a mentor who or some type of upline who has already seen some success, has a process, and is willing to pour information into you. You're not going to find somebody who's going to give away their process or information or for free, because if they do, their time, they're showing you that their time is not valuable, when clearly it is. You don't write $270,000 in annuity business in a month if your time's not valuable. Now, granted, I know there's a lot of other people out there that probably do more than that, but they have teams, they have this, they have that. There's not very many producers that do it solo and still have enough time to, enjoy their weekends, hang out with their family, and also train agents, right? So the first one is gain the knowledge that you need. And it's not just about knowledge in general, it's the right knowledge. Getting in front of a client and not being able to answer certain questions that are pretty crucial can make or break a sale. So getting the right knowledge. The second one is getting some experience. So how do you get experience without it costing you a lot of money? You cross-sell to your clients, right? Here's what we don't do. I've never used a client as a guinea pig, and that is why knowledge came first, right? If you have the right knowledge and you get in front of a client or a prospect or whoever, okay, you're not using them as a guinea pig, you're using them to get some experience, right? You're not going to go close the $1 million annuity sale day one, right? It might be an $18,000 annuity or a $10,000 annuity or a $20,000 annuity. I wrote multiple small annuities to gain experience, because if you lose the sale or whatever, it falls through because you screw up, it's not as much of an issue, because a $1,000 commission or $2,000 commission is a lot easier to eat than a $50,000 commission or a $100,000 commission, right? So get some experience, and try to get the experience as cheap as possible. So you can use seminars are normally fairly inexpensive, cross-selling Medicare clients, cross-selling any other clients that you have, networking with local people in your community. Those are all things that are going to be cheap or doesn't cost you anything, okay? So knowledge, experience. The third step is going to be having a good system and a good process, okay? So once you have knowledge and once you have experience, the next thing is, hey, how do I get in front of the right people, and how do I make sure that I'm following up accordingly? So maybe that's the proper CRM, okay? For us, we use a CRM that's good for lead management, because our process has very exclusive type high intent leads that we pay a lot of money for, $200, $300, $400 a piece for, so that we can now put them into our CRM and then manage them moving forward. Hey, we followed up at this time. We followed up at this day. We have their email, all the stuff. We can kind of automate some of it. And by the way, I would tell you, you probably should not automate those kind of leads. So normally for us, what the process is, You follow up at different times of the day. So a lead comes in, you follow up morning, evening, afternoon, email, text. In my email, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll shoot a quick YouTube video and then I'll embed it in there. So they just click on it, plays it right from there. And it's just an introduction video and it's specific to them. It's not a generic video, it's specific to them. Just a quick little video. They play it and they're like, oh, this person's real. Okay, let them know what phone number I'll be calling from or whatever, right? Give them your 30-second overview of what you do, okay? And then once we can't get a hold of somebody, right, we then put them into an automated process where it's maybe an email drip campaign thing or text or phone call, whatever it is, okay? After, let's say, 10 contacts. Sales system, right? So if you have the knowledge, you start to get a little bit of experience and you have a good system for organizing clientele and appointments and all that, now you need the sales process and the sales system. So that would be when you're in front of the client, what are you going to talk about? What is your system? Do you start with rapport? Do you start with an introduction? Do you go into, so this is what we do normally. I immediately try to gauge the room, okay? What type of person am I sitting down with? Are they, what's their posture look like, right? Are they, shoulders up and very closed? Or are they kind of open, relaxed? What's the format? You want to gauge how that person is, which I think if you have any type of sales experience, I think you probably know how to do that already. If not, it's going to take experience, okay? So gauging the room. From there, I'll do a little bit of rapport building. I'll do an introduction to myself and then obviously my company. I leave it open to them. Hey, the floor is yours. Tell me a little bit about you guys, okay? Hey, hey, this is our process. We're going to get right into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to conduct a financial needs analysis. I have I printed out. It's a financial needs analysis. I just have it on paper, a nice paper stock. Maybe it's like a trifold. That looks good. We're in the process of developing one of those right now, just more professional, more organized. Right now it's just paper. Regular paper. So it's going to be a cover page. The back side is going to be their basic information, address, blah, 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 email, life insurance, health insurance, what their assets are at, 401ks, IRAs, Roths, whatever it is, annuities, pensions. I look at income, I look at debt. The next page is going to be a needs analysis where I'm going to ask them, or I'm going to say a statement, and then they're going to rate that statement on 1 through 5. 1 meaning they strongly agree, or I'm sorry, they strongly disagree. 5 meaning they strongly agree and everything in between. And I say about 10 different statements, and then they rate them. The next question I ask is, what would you be comfortable with losing out of your portfolio right now? Comfortable, not want to lose, but what would you be comfortable with losing? All of it, some of it, or none of it, okay? So all of it is probably never going to be an answer. Some of it is going to be a common answer, and none of it's also going to be a fairly common answer, okay? I'm not really comfortable with losing any of it. They're looking at an annuity a lot of times because guess what? They don't want to lose any money. If they do say some, you have them give you a percentage. What is the percentage of your portfolio you're comfortable with losing? 5%, 10%, 20%? And then you're putting that in there. Why? Because that means that whatever they didn't tell you, that is okay to have in safety, okay? And then from there, you're going to look at suitability and whatnot. So you're going to ask them that. And then my backside of my fact finder is going to have goals, questions. It's going to have, have you planned for your spouse at all? Trust, wills, things like that. Any grandkids? It's going to talk about legacy. They're open-ended questions that they're going to answer in their own words. Okay, so that's my initial fact-finding system. From there, then I pause and I take some time and I let them know, okay, based on how you answered this question, I would have either A, said you weren't the right client for us, or B, said we think this may fit you. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now is what exactly is an annuity. And I go into my educational process of my sales process, okay, or my sales system. So we're going to educate the client at that point. We're going to tell them everything there is to know about annuities with kind of maybe not a 10,000 foot overview, maybe like a 5,000 foot overview. So it's not going to be so broad that they really don't understand it, but it's not going to be so specific that they get lost in the details, okay? So you're going to give them that. From there, you're going to continue to educate them, but now you're going to shift gears into a specific route. Majority of the time, it's going to be a fixed index annuity. That's all of the products we sell. It just fits in most scenarios versus any other type. Obviously, you're going to have to gauge that. Sometimes an immediate annuity does fit based on taxes and yada, yada, yada. Sometimes maybe they're looking for a fixed. Okay, well, fixed rates aren't great right now, but gauge it. From there, now you're going to get into any questions they have. Okay, does that make sense? Do you want to go over anything? You're gonna go through questions. And I will say, when I do start the meeting, I normally ask them 2 questions. What is your goal, overall goal, for this meeting? What would you like to accomplish? And then if it's different, sometimes it is, what is your overall goal for your assets? What do you want them to do for you? Okay. From there, we start talking about fixed index annuities, and then we get into some product specific details based on their goals, right? So now you're going to pivot. Okay, this could go one of 2 ways. Either one, you're going to start talking about product specific details if you know which one you're going to show them, or 2, you might want to make a second appointment, go through a couple other things with them, make a second appointment, say, hey, I'm going to come back here in a couple days. I'm going to bring this back to my team. We're going to review it, make sure we got the right, we're going to come back with an analysis of some point, okay? Sometimes that makes sense. I'm kind of a one sit, one close kind of guy for most people. So at that point, I'm going to get into some product specific details. A lot of times I kind of already know based on what our conversation was over the phone. I'm probably going to already know where I'm leaning, right? So maybe I already have some details in my briefcase. Maybe I already have a portfolio analysis in my briefcase, something with, I put it together. It's got brochures and illustrations and things like that. Maybe I already brought a couple of them so I can, be prepared. You're going to go through that. You're going to tell them why it fits. You're going to tell them the negatives first, end on the positives, right? You're going to go through any questions, okay, with them. And at that time, you should have met whatever goals or objections they've had already, okay? Because it's going to come up throughout the appointment. You're going to meet them with the details of the product. Oh, this is your goal. This accomplishes that. This is another goal. This accomplishes that. And at the end, a lot of times what I say is, what would be a reason as to why you wouldn't want to add this to help protect your portfolio and protect your financial future, right? What would be a reason as to why you wouldn't want to? And a lot of times at that time, there's no reason, okay? Now, if they want to take some time to think about it, you never want to try to push a sale on anybody, okay? You do want them to think about it. But I also say, hey, why don't we do the application? Because there is suitability involved. If somebody's willing to do the application for suitability, and obviously you don't do any transfer forms or whatever, you just bring a paper one, have it on hand in case they're ready to go. If they're willing to do that, chances are it's going to go through. I don't think I've ever went through that entire process, started it. They said, okay, yeah, let's do an application. Give me some time to think about it. Sure. And then them not do it. I don't think I've ever had that happen. Now, I've went through the process and they said yes, and then after that said no. But as far as that, I don't think we have. So you have that sales system, and then step 5 obviously is delivery. We just kind of went into that. So you have your system that you have in ready to go, which we just talked about, and then you actually have your delivery and how you deliver that within your sales system or sales process. Okay, and your delivery needs to be thought out. It needs to be methodical. You need to make sure that you're coming across as an educator. We always do that. I have made many of the same statements to clients saying, hey, Mrs. Jones, listen, we are showing you this not because you have to do this. You came to us because we're the safe money planning experts, or whatever you want to call yourself. And we're showing you how we can help meet some of your goals, okay? From a moral fiduciary standpoint, which I definitely follow a moral fiduciary code, okay? From that standpoint, it does not matter to us business-wise what you do. What does matter is making sure that you're not outliving your retirement and you don't have anxiety when the market's going down, and we can meet some of these goals. That's why we're here. You're just painting a picture that you're there to help, you're there to educate, and you're not holding them to do anything, right? And you can do it without sounding like a robot. I might have just sounded like one. I want to. It's part of the rapport building, but it's also if you feel like that person wants a robot, you got to be a robot, right? It just depends on who you're in front of. So, step 5, go through your delivery. Get in front of a camera and record yourself doing a whole process. Or if you're doing a Zoom meeting, okay, record the Zoom meeting so you can go back and figure out what you did wrong, okay? Once you've done your delivery, you're then going to go into your follow-up. So you've done your delivery, your closing is after your delivery. We kind of mix that in together because from a closing standpoint, my closing process is really just, if they're ready to do it right then and there, perfect. If they're not, let's at least get the application going, right? And then down the road, you're going to answer more questions. That's going to be your follow-up process. That's step 6. You're going to do your follow-ups, answer more questions, and then you're just going to knock it out. It's, just saying, oh, just knock it out, right? What do you mean, right? It's going to be a process with some people, and you're going to have to understand that. There are going to be people that want to do it right then and there, and there are going to be people like I'm dealing with a gentleman right now. We've had, let's see, I think we have 3 different contacts. We've had a Zoom appointment, and he's canceled 2 other Zooms just because his life's busy right now. I get it. It's a process. You don't want to annoy them, right, by continuous follow-ups, but you don't want them to kind of forget about you. So there is that mix, and it's going to come with experience, again. So that's step 6 is just continue to follow up with them, answer any questions they have, understand that you're not putting pressure on them, you're just there to help educate moving forward. And that would be my 6 steps when you're looking to get into annuities, sell annuities the right way. And then there's going to be a lot of detail that's going to come out of those 6 steps as well, okay? Each one can be dissected throughout probably multiple hours, if not more, of content, which is what we want to be able to provide to you guys, okay? So that's the 6 steps. I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope that helps. Feel free to reach out with any questions you may have, or feel free to reach out about our specific process. We have pre-recorded content that you can have access to. We do have a course that you can get access to, and then you can go through it with pre-recorded videos. You can have some one-on-one time with me. I want to be able for you guys to be able to replicate the process as smoothly as possible through some hand-holding, because that's kind of what it takes, okay? So glad you guys watched. Have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you soon. And remember, always be better. God bless.